What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bare Basic Lawns. Today, we're getting back into the lawn. We are going to get some spray done. Today is spray day. I always love spray day. You know, you always got to PPE up. You always got to get the chemical spraying. But you know what? It's been 3 weeks since my last application of this grassy weed that I wanted to try and get rid of some of these grassy weeds. I feel like that I didn't necessarily use too much of the application. I did an ounce, like I mentioned in my last video, but now I'm gonna try and up it because I want to try and get rid of some of these. And it seemed like it didn't really. It seemed like it wanted to try and kill it off, but it seemed like it just stopped. And so now I'm gonna make sure that I get some spray down and some applications down because I want to make sure they're gone. So, and then also too, I don't. That's what I mean. I don't know why um, ant mounds keep popping up in the area that I just did in my last video with the spray of the insect killer. Like literally the next couple feet over, like a couple new ant mounds popped up, and I sprayed literally like around the whole thing. I'm like, come on, man. And so I think this round I'm gonna try it. I think this round I'm gonna give it a dual application of the herbicide killer and then the insect killer, and then that way I blanket all the grass everywhere. So this round is treated because in my last video I just spot treated, and I want to make sure that everything gets treated. Mosquitoes, whatever, army worms, bugs, crickets, they're all out here. So I want to try and make sure I get that going. So, but for the meantime, this is what I was talking about here. So, I still have the flags in the ground. Let's go ahead and check it out right here. This is my first one that I did. So here you can see that it literally kind of didn't do anything. It is still growing, and you can still see the purple leaves. That means that it's actively growing there. And it seemed like it didn't really do anything. And then as I'm looking down at the ground, this is what I'm talking about. Where is it? Right there. That looks like a new active ant mound. Along, here's another one. It looks like that could have been maybe this one could have been maybe the one I sprayed already. But that's what I'm talking about. I literally just sprayed, and I see another one underneath the rain gutter right here. Jeez. And I did all of that right there in my last video. I did a whole around the whole house, literally right where the freaking ant mound is. And so come out here. This is the part that I was talking about. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, see, here you go. So before, I believe I did it right. It looks like it might be right in here. I want to say it was right. I want to say it was right there. So then I come over here, and there's a new one there, a new one here. Look at these ones growing. Look at that. Where's this other one? One growing in there. Here's another one. So that's what I mean. I'm gonna try and do the whole thing. My mixture that I want to do, and if it works, it works great. And if it doesn't, then it's a trial by error thing. But here's my other grassy weed patch that I flagged. This here was that test of not mowing and not watering and not doing anything. And here, as you can see, it literally didn't do anything. It's still growing. Look at how look how tall that is compared to to my other one where it grew flat. Then I come over here, and same thing over here. There's another. This was the other flag that I did. And same thing. That's a good that's a good sized monstrosity there. Look look at that sucker. It's growing. So here, I think in this case, I believe that if in the next couple of weeks after I spray this, if it's still there, I'm just gonna hand get rid of it. Just pull it out myself, and that way it could be done. But these ones here, this one was another one that I flagged, and it seems like these more freaking. Like, dude, come on, man, look at this. So here's my other flag, and as you can see, I got some good, little patches popping up here. But like, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Look at these ones growing now. Look at that. How many did I just point out? 6 or 7 already? So I'm just gonna look to spray the whole thing again. That's what I mean. I get so many ant mounds, and I see my other neighbors around here, and they don't get anything. They're all over here. I just don't get it, unless they're just that small and nobody notices and nobody cares, or doesn't really necessarily spray for it. But dude, like, here's another one. Look at these. There's another one. And then as I'm looking, look at all these guys. Like, these are big ones here. That's a freaking, that's Z's family right there. Like, I see them all in here a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mounds right here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to spray this. So as you can see, they're just popping up everywhere. It's probably the active growing season, and the bugs are coming out. So I'm gonna have to start spraying them avidly, because towards the end of last year, I got some good ants going in the house, and I was fighting them for a good month, before the cold came. And it seems, geez, here's another one. I see another one right here popping up. So I think I'm just gonna have to do a couple of applications of spray. As far as I don't, now that I see so many of them, I think that I'm just gonna have to do several passes. I want to try and keep it spray for spray. If it was like the first couple ones that I saw, I probably would do that. Just mix the two together. But now that I see the whole freaking area is covered, geez, it looks like another one over there by the fence. Now that I see all of this, how many there are, I'm gonna have to just spray it myself. So, enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and get to the review table. I'm gonna get changed into my PPE, and we'll see what kind of products we're working with again. All right, guys, welcome back to the review table. So here we have our products again. I'm gonna be using, I just got a little bit left of this Ignite. It's a Ignite SC. It has a little bit of bifin in it. It also has a little bit of, I don't know, imidacloprid. Sure. It's got 5% of that and 4% bifin. I really don't think the bifin is enough percentage for 4%. So I think I'm going to get some other spray of bifin, just straight bifin. I believe I see some that has about 25%. And that should really take care of this problem, because, as I was just going through before, I don't know what it is, but they just keep popping up. It seems like I spray, right where I was just at, and then all of a sudden the next day, here they are again, So I think I'm just going to try and get another spray. I didn't really necessarily think that this worked great. So I believe it isn't enough product for me, in my opinion, with how many things I've been saying, like I just said. But anyways, so then my next one that I'm going to be using to get rid of these grassy weeds, it also has some of that 2-4-D to take care of some of that clover and everything. But the main thing is that quinchlorac that we're looking for. It has about almost 10% of that, so that's a pretty good fair amount. Like I said, I use about one ounce this round in a little measuring area right here. It goes all the way to 2. So I believe I'm going to do a ounce and a half, and that should really take care of it. Now, as far as prepping, I believe on Monday, it was right before a little storm. We did get some rain Monday. I just ran a quick mow real quick. I didn't record it just because I had second thoughts. Like in my last video, I didn't really necessarily think that I would mow, and the height of cut isn't there. So when it comes to mow, well, I'll go ahead and raise the height of cut. I haven't done it just yet, but I just want to get rid of a quick mow in, just to prepare for all the rain that was coming this week. And here we are again Sunday, you know, that I'm finally getting back into the lawn. So as far as prepping done, I haven't mowed since Monday. I didn't water besides what has rained. Early in the morning, though, there was a slight little, you know, not rain, not sprinkle, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of maybe got the ground wet. So it did rain a little bit. It does say 24 hours, but you know what? It's already hitting 80 degrees, and already this week, it's here we come with Texas weather. It's about to start to be 90s now in the during the daytime. So that's why I'm kind of doing it now, because wearing pants and long sleeves out here, you know, you'll start sweating real quick. And so as far as prepping, you know, like I said, I really didn't do much. The ground, especially over here on this side, where they're on this side of the house, the water flows, and it's still kind of wet over there, but some of the back was okay. Um, I think it should be okay, you know, because I do cut low anyway, so the solutions should penetrate pretty good. You know, I'm going to do a whole spray between both the products. You know, I'll probably have to do 4 rounds of this, you know, so which sucks, but you know, that's what I mean. At the same time, I think I'm going to invest in a backpack sprayer, just because, like right now, 4 times, or you know, two or 1 time technically, if I were to put these together, I think that would be a little bit more better. But with this here though, I'm kind of questioning myself, because when I hit those ant mounds, you know, I'm not necessarily drenching it, but you know, I'm putting a good fair amount of product down. But when it comes to this, you know, I'm just kind of spraying and going. And then like the big patches that I have marked with the flag, you know, I'm making sure to, you know, get a good kind of, you know, spray down. As far as the rest of the lawn, you know, I'm just walking at a steady pace. So that's kind of why it kind of sucks, I think, to do it this way. But maybe the results might be the same. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm no expert, you know. I'm just here to give you guys good content and, you know, do the bare basic minimum, you know. Just put a little spray down, mow, feed, edge, you know, all the good stuff. You know, you want to make sure your lawn looks good, just like I mentioned in my very first video. You know, make sure to go check that out. And I will be doing another video with the dethatcher machine coming up here pretty shortly, I think. But we'll get into that for another video. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get these ready. Stay tuned. We will get this lawn looking good. And as always, thank you for tuning in. And let's get some spray going. I'm excited. You know, let's try and get rid of some of these bugs. Spray for the weeds. It's going to be a good day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Also, too, today is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to my mom, my mother-in-law, all the moms, even my brother's wife. You know, they just had a baby. Congratulations to them. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get some spray going. All right, everybody, welcome back. I apologize. My phone memory ran out, so I ended up missing some of the last of the spray there, and I didn't even realize it until I started moving the camera. So I apologize. I didn't end up getting the rest of the spray down to show you guys, but you guys get the picture. I got it sprayed, got it done. I made sure to go over those pesky ant mounds again off camera, just to make sure that I really doused them with that bifin, because they were just popping up everywhere. I think I probably counted 20, 30 easily somewhere in there. So I really hope that blanket spraying, all of this out here, the whole yard, will really clean it up, because I don't want to deal with these ants again. I feel like spraying down products should prevent this. I feel good about the product. It just needs to, keep going with it, So, but in the meantime, it's okay. I got it down. We got it sprayed. Coming up here this weekend, I think I'm going to verticut again. This round I went. So here, let me see. I went. Let me see here. Hold on. I went this way. I believe I'm going to go this. I guess this way would be vertical. No. Wait, hold on. No. So when I did it, I went. I went the way is, lengthwise right here. So I think this round I'm gonna go, side to side, from fence to house, instead of, from the back fence all the way to this tree over here, So that way, because on the mound that I live on, or the hill, whatever you want to call it, the pad, um, on the front, and you can kind of see it in here. It still kind of looks brown, but that goes to say about me and my height of cut. I will probably start cutting it at about 1 inch. I won't necessarily change it just yet, just because right before I verticut, no, actually, I think I will change it, because I want to try and scalp it again, and that way it gets all the way down to the ground, and it needs it, because you could just see the brown that's still kicking out, especially in the front, like I just said, and it needs it again. So I think this weekend, of course, I just had beautiful weather, and here it is now 90 degrees, 92 degrees. So it is what it is. But in the meantime, that's probably what I'll end up doing, because in a couple of weeks, I want to say about the middle of June, I'm going to be doing my leveling, core aerating. So that's going to be a big project for me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I've never done it before. So it's going to be a big trial by error, and it's going to be fun. Me and some other neighbors I've been talking with them, because they'd be seeing me out here in the lawn, and we're going to get together, rent a machine, do it all ourselves. It's going to be fun. I'll probably videotape it. I'll see, like I just mentioned, I use my phone, and I don't have that much memory half the time. So if I have the memory and I can do it, then I'll do it. But for the meantime, I definitely will do mine. Stay tuned for that. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the support. We just hit 100 subscribers. That is great. That is awesome. I never thought I would get this far. I feel like I would have been like at 20 by now, but you guys are awesome. Thank you for the support. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the above. Ring that bell. Always keeping you posted on my content. It is very fun getting out here in the lawn. So that will be our next little project coming up here. Stay tuned, and I will catch you in the next video.
They're basic lawns where the green grass grows, East Texas skies and a gentle breeze blows.